The dice felt cold against Nick's palm. A bad sign. In Vegas, the felt was always room temperature, the air a perfect 72 degrees, the drinks perpetually half full. Cold dice meant the universe had shifted a degree off axis. He should have walked away, but the redhead on his left had just hit the number on a whim. Her chips stacked like a tiny, precarious city, and the whoop from the table was a drug purer than anything you could get in a bathroom stall. Nick was just a tourist, a civil engineer from Omaha with a budget and a plan. The plan, as of 10 minutes ago, was in tatters. He'd thrown $30 on the pass line, a mere gesture of belonging. The shooter, a guy in a glittering gold vest unbuttoned to his sternum, had the fever. You could see it in his eyes, that manic, magnetic certainty that he could not lose. He'd been holding the dice for 40 minutes.
The Strip still
The
shimmers in the
stickman,
desert
a
sun, but the
skeleton in a
crowds that
tuxedo,
once packed Las Vegas
pushed
are
2
thinning.
dice towards him
Slot
with his
machines
wand.
hum to empty seats.
The shooter blew
Dealers
on
wait
them,
at quiet
a
tables.
pointless,
Even
sacred
pedestrian
ritual.
bridges that usually crawl with
"Come on, baby," Goldvest whispered, and tossed them. They bounced off the pyramid backstop and settled like lazy cats.
The Strip still shimmers in the desert
7.
sun, but the crowds that once
A
packed Las
collective
Vegas
groan,
are
and
thinning.
then a sharp,
Slot machines
ragged
hum to
cheer
empty
from
seats.
those who'd bet
Dealers
against
wait
him.
at quiet tables.
Nick's $30
Even pedestrian
evaporated.
bridges that usually
The
crawl
redhead
with
city crumbled as the dealer raked in her chips with a cool plastic shovel. Goldvest's face went slack, the fever broken, leaving him looking just tired and a little bit foolish. Nick should have taken the hint. He ordered a whiskey. Neat. The cocktail waitress, her smile painted on, brought it in a glass so thick it felt like a weapon. He sipped it, watching the table repopulate with new hopes. A kid in a baseball cap, here for his 21st, nervously put a $5 chip on the line. The dice were passed to him. He held them like they were live frogs. Nick's rule was simple: never bet on a rookie. He watched the kid's first throw. It was soft, apologetic. A 6. The point was 6. The kid looked around, lost. "Just try and hit the 6 again," the dealer said, his voice a flat line of boredom. The kid threw 8, another throw, 9. The table started to murmur, a low, interested sound. A woman in a sequined tiger print top leaned over to Nick. "He's a beginner's luck, honey. Get on it." Nick's whiskey was gone. His logic was gone. He pulled 2 20s from his wallet, more than his dinner budget, and placed them behind the pass line. The kid threw 5, 4, 10. The dice danced, teasing the edges of the felt, but never landing on the 6. The tension was a physical weight. The pit boss, a man carved from granite in a cheap suit, drifted closer, his eyes flat and watchful. The kid threw again. The dice spun, a perfect arcing trajectory. They hit the back wall and tumbled. One die showed a 5. The other wobbled on its edge, a tiny spinning world of indecision. It wobbled and finally fell flat. 1 pip. The other die was a 5. 6. The table erupted. The redhead from before was back, somehow, shrieking. Tiger print woman was slapping the felt. Even the granite pit boss's eyebrow twitched a millimeter. The dealer pushed a small mountain of chips towards Nick. He'd just turned $40 into $240. It was more money than he'd ever won in his life. It felt like stealing. The kid, now a local deity, beamed. He'd made his point. He threw a few more, riding the wave, and then, wisely, cashed out. Nick, high on the magic, stayed. He threw some chips on the hard ways, lost a few, won a few. He felt invincible. The dice were warm now. An hour later, he was down to his original 40. He'd chased the high, fed the beast, and the beast had simply eaten. He collected his last 2 chips, a red 5 and a white 1, and walked away from the table. He didn't feel like an engineer anymore. He felt like a ghost. He cashed out at the cage. $87, a profit of $7 for 4 hours of his life. Outside on the strip, the real sun was bleaching the sky. The digital dawn was a lie. The air smelt of baking asphalt and desperation. A guy in a stained tuxedo was sweeping yesterday's glamour into a dustpan. A woman with mascara tracks down her cheeks was arguing with a parking valet. Nick stood there, the $87 in his pocket, feeling both heavy and weightless. He'd won. He'd lost. He'd ended up exactly where he started, plus a mediocre meal. But for one spinning moment, when that die had wobbled on its edge, he hadn't been from Omaha. He hadn't been an engineer with a 401k. He had been pure, unadulterated potential hanging in the balance. And in Vegas, he thought, turning towards the diner that served the best cheap breakfast on the strip, that was worth exactly $7.